It's the work we do in the dark that brings the light, eventually. Hey. Polished the silence until it started to gleam. A lonely architect of a recurring dream. Built a sanctuary where the noise can't reside. With the truth on my tongue and nowhere to hide. The world is a carnival of hollow displays, but I'm counting the mints in the smoky gray. Every bar's a brick in the wall they can't climb. A rustic translation of a borrowed time. I don't need a map to find where I belong. In the static of the radio and the ghost of a song. The street lamp is a witness to the things I don't say. Watching the ambition just wither away. I'm trading the rush for a moment of grace. Finding the universe in a very small space. The ink on my fingers is a permanent stain. A map of the losses and the localized pain. I'm a 420 shadow in a city of light, burning a hole through the fabric of night. The bass is the anchor, the rhythm is the guide for the ones who are drifting on the incoming tide. It is the echo of the unseen, the sound of the deep, the promises to the ancestors that I'm trying to keep. The beat is the pulse, the rhyme is the north. Luck to the living, let the truth come forth. It's the echo of the unseen, the sound of the deep, the voice of the one who never was cheap. I've seen the empires crumble in a puff of smoke, the punchline of a very expensive joke. They're selling the water while the river is dry, but I'm looking at the stars with a heavy red eye. There's a blues in my marrow that I can't outrun, a story of the moon that was chasing the sun. I'm a blue-collar laborer of the lyrical craft, building a bridge while the others just laugh. The concrete is cold, but the vibration is real, healing the wounds that the doctors can't feel. So let the rain fall on the rusted out frame. I've forgotten the glory and I've buried the name. The hustle is quiet, the focus is sharp, playing the nerves like a high-tension harp. I'm leaving these traces like ash on the floor, a message for the ones who are looking for more. One last spark before the static takes over. A rustic philosopher in the field of red clover. The needle keeps moving even when I am gone. The truth is the only thing that carries on. It's the echo of the unseen, the sound of the deep, the promises to the ancestors that I'm trying to keep. The beat is the pulse, the rhyme is the north. The luck to the living, let the truth come forth. It's the echo of the unseen, the sound of the deep, the voice of the one who never was cheap. It's the work we do in the dark that brings the light, eventually.
Counting the dust motes, dancing in a single beam of light, lost in the velvet texture of a long and hazy night. The clock on the wall is just a ghost of a ticking sound, while I'm digging for the treasures that were never meant to be found. The beat is a slow motion heart, heavy and slightly off time, a rustic translation of a life that's past its prime. I'm sipping on the silence, letting the bitterness settle deep inside the sanctuary where the tired secrets sleep. My pen is moving like a shadow across a cracked concrete floor, tracing the outlines of a world that doesn't exist anymore. I've seen the neon signs bleeding into the morning gray, watching the hustle and the vanity just wither away. I don't need the fast lane, I've got the smoke in my hair, finding the frequency in the middle of the heavy air. The blues is a low pass filter cutting through digital scream, a survivor of the static, living inside a recurring dream. I'm a 420 philosopher with a notebook and a blunt of truth, reclaiming the fragments of a misspent and jagged youth. The needle is dragging through the grooves of a broken soul, but the vibration is the only thing that's keeping me whole. It's the velvet static, the warmth of the slow decay, watching the colors of the ego just fade away. The beat is the anchor, the rhyme is the north. Luck to the living, let the truth come forth. It's the velvet static, the warmth of the slow decay, the voice of the one who decided to stay. I'm marking the distance by the length of the ash on the floor, ignoring the knocking of the world at my basement door. They're selling the instant, but I'm buying the permanent slow, watching the seeds of the quiet start to finally grow. Well, there's a jazz in the shadows that the city will never hear, a frequency that only opens up when the noise is clear. I'm a blue-collar ghost, a laborer of the inner space, finding the universe in the lines of a weathered face. The concrete is cold, but the fire in the mind is thick, counting the seconds by the rhythm of the vinyl click. The rain on the roof is the only percussion I really need, planting the verses like a heavy and ancient seed. I've traded the gold for the lead and the rust of the real. In a world made of plastic, I'm searching for things I can feel. The smoke is a curtain, a veil between the now and the then. Writing the manual for the ones who have to start again. No shortcuts taken, no hollow praise on a silver tray. Just a man in a shadow watching the night turn to gray. The drum is a pulse, the melody is a distant, lonely sigh, watching the smoke trails drift through a violet sky. I remember when the music had a way you could actually hold, before the soul was digitized and the magic was bought and sold. Now I'm filtering the wreckage through a warm and glowing tube, searching for the geometry inside this chaotic cube. The sidewalk is a diary written in the cracks and the stains, mapping the history of the losses and the localized pains. I'm a hermit in the haze, a monk in the middle of the fuzz, remembering the person that I never really was. The rhyme is the anchor, the rhythm is the heavy chain, keeping me grounded in the middle of the digital rain. So let the tape hits grow until it swallows the whole room. I'm finding the comfort in the middle of the beautiful gloom. The hustle is a memory, the focus is a steady blue flame. I buried the trophies and I've forgotten the hollow name. One last spark before the silence turns to a solid wall. A traveler on the path who isn't afraid of the fall. The concrete is heavy, but the spirit is feeling weightless and light, floating like a ghost through the middle of the velvet night. The truth is the silence is the final word. The most important stories are the ones that were never heard. Down in the hollow where the blues guitar starts to weep, I'm making a promise that the rest of the world couldn't keep, to stay in the moment, to let the vibration just lead the way, out of the shadows and into the light of a different day. The rose is a liquid pouring into the gaps of the soul, turning the fragments back into something that's almost whole. The end of the record is just the beginning in disguise. I'm seeing the truth through these heavy and bloodshot eyes. Keep the motor running slow, keep the needle in the groove. I got nothing to prove and I got nowhere else to move, yeah.
For the soil is sacred.
I am the guard at the door of my mind, leaving the shadows and the static behind. If a thought is a weed, I don't let it grow. I filter the river and I watch where it flows. It's not about shouting to the sky up above, it's about walking in the free sea of love.
I see the city and the rush and the noise, but I keep my focus and I keep my poise. If the wind is a whisper or a hurricane gale, I stand like a mountain, I shall not fail. For the root of the tree doesn't ask for the rain, it prepares the ground and it breaks every chain.
Vibration is the language the universe hears, higher than the doubts, louder than the fears. What you hold and the past stays bright. The past stays bright. People are running, chasing the wind, but the golden treasure is buried within. I don't compete, I just find my own pace. The law of the spirit is not about the race. Clean up your vision, clear out the haze, and watch out the morning says your world ablaze.
In the silence of the valley, I find my decree that the world I envision is the world that I see. No room for the poison, no room for the spite. I bathe my intentions in the morning light. The soul doesn't beg for the flowers to bloom. It just provides the warmth and it clears out the gloom.
Roots deep in the earth, head high in the clouds. Silence is the sound of the soul.
The soul, the soul, the soul. Be still and know.
I've seen the seasons and I felt the cold, but the story of life is a story untold. You are the writer, the ink and the page, stepping out of the cage of this modern age. Tune your instrument before you start to play, or the music of life will just drift away. Vibration is the language the universe hears. Higher than the doubts, louder than the fears. What you hold in the dark will come to the light. Align your spirit, and the past stays bright.
The gatekeeper is awake. No entry for the heavy heart. Light as a feather, steady as a rock. Watch your guard and let the fruit be sweet. The gatekeeper is awake. No entry for the heavy heart. Light as a feather, steady as a rock. Watch your guard and let the fruit be sweet.
Spat the raw truth on a napkin so stained. Left my pride in the gutter where the gray water remains. The rhyme is the blade cutting through the thickest haze. Fuel for the soul through these repetitive sunless days. I don't seek the praise of the ones who do not feel the weight of the tax and the hunger that is real. Low frequency vibes, a beat that stays true to the block. Born in the shadows, far away from the tick and the top. What used to be cold is now shining for the few. A ghost in the machine, something ancient and new. At the curve of the night, the thought starts to stretch and bend like a broken sidewalk that never seems to end. Heavy pen in my hand, the paper is catching the spark. Writing constellations for the kids lost in the dark. I am not just a pawn, I am the king of the high wire. Walking through the smoke of a city-wide fire. The ink is the blood of the ones who already bled in the project. Always where the hope was left for dead. The metric is the guide, the flow is the hornet sting. In this vast union, I'm just a quiet broken thing.
It is the curse verse, sacred line told. The voice of the one who never was sold. The beat is the pulse, the rhyme is the north. Luck to the living, let the truth come forth. It is the curse verse, the sacred line told. The voice of the one who never was sold.
But the silence is loud, it's the sound of the 9 to 5 grind. The ghost of the factory that the system left behind. I'm sipping on the bitterness, turned it into a vintage wine. Tracing the cracks on the rusted, no trespassing sign. My lyrics are blueprints for a house they can't repossess. Finding the sanctuary in the middle of this digital mess. The drums are the heartbeat of a subway train in the rain. Conducting the electricity of a localized pain. No shortcuts taken, no handouts on a silver plate. Just a man and his shadow standing at the iron gate. Knocked on the door and nobody ever replied. So I forged my own key, let the whole world slide between the cracks of the laws that they forbade. Found a real treasure in the deaths that they delayed. I don't rap for the festivals, I rap for the ghosts. The ones standing solid on the foggy Atlantic coast. The bass in my chest is the sound of a coming thunder, waking up the neighborhood from the spell they're under. The mask starts to peel, the silicone starts to show. The one who profits from the hate is the last one to know. It is the
curse, the sacred line told, the voice of the one who never was sold. The beat is the pulse, the rhyme is the note. Luck to the living, let the truth come forth. It is the curse, the sacred line told, the voice of the one who never was sold.
I am the blue-collar laborer of the heavy rustic rhyme. A stray bullet shot into the fabric of a borrowed time. Went down to the basement and I came back with the code. Where the danger resides is the only home for my soul. If the music is the medicine and the dose is a fatal crime, a survivor of the static and a soul is digital time. I'm a 420 vibe in a world that's moving too fast, building a future out of the fragments of the past. From the hills of 9 Mile to the streets of Long Beach, I'm finding the wisdom that the schools couldn't teach. The static is my witness, the vinyl is my skin. I'm losing the battle just so I can finally win. The needle drops heavy, the rotation is slow. I'm the only one left with nowhere left to go.
Let it breathe.
Midnight blue, she like spinning in a slow crowd. Watching shadow dance against the bedroom wall. Coffee's ice cold, phone's face down on the floor. I don't even know what I was way to flow. City lights bleeding through the half-closed blinds, searching for a piece that I can never find. Just a hollow shell in a luxury seat, listening to the echoes of a quiet street.
Lost in the velvet, lost in the haze, drifting through the static of these lonely days. No destination, nowhere to be, just a rhythm taking over me.
Yeah, the rhythm's taking over,
floating.
Raindrops tapping out of cold, I can't break. Giving everything for a heart that won't wait. Leather seats holding me like an old friend, wondering if the road has a beginning or an end. Neon reflections in a puddle of gold, buying back the secrets that I never sold. Mute the world, let the frequency rise. I can see the truth when I close my eyes.
Stay low, stay low, stay low,
Stay low,
let it flow, let it flow.
Sinking in the deep,
Stinking in the deep.
promises we keep.
It's a slow burn,
Just a slow go.
velvet static. Midnight.
The wind whips through the gaps of the galvanized steel. My fingers trace the rust on the gate that no one bothers to claim the air. Tastes like burnt rubber and old engine oil out here. A desert of gravel where no colors ever seem to appear. Dry weeds push through the cracks in the heat, so concrete floor. Silent witnesses to a progress that doesn't live here anymore. No luxury in sight, just the skeleton of a warehouse time forgot. The silence of a place that's not mine, a forgotten dusty plot. Clouds drag like dirty sheets over the high voltage power lines, while I search for a radio signal between the static and the sign. Feet on the gravel, eyes on what's left of the light, finding beauty in the things that everyone pushed out of sight. Off the grid, where I finally hit. Kick an empty aluminum can and the sound echoes through the yard. A sharp snap cut in the air, hitting me sudden and hitting me hard. The transmission towers look like metal giants bowed in prayer. Guarding this no man's land is strange and heavy here. The sun sets behind the grain silos, a dull and opaque sphere, melting the edges of a world that's starting to disappear. The smell of diesel from the highway is my only company now, a reminder that life moves on, though I don't really know how. I feel the grit like sandpaper in my thoughts, of friction I need to remind myself I'm more than just a name on a page they read. The afternoon light dies in ochre and purple on a zinc-plated roof, as I wander aimless through this land that serves as its own proof. I'm not looking for answers in the trash or the graffiti on the wall. I just want the weight of my boots on these worn stones, that's all. The horizon is a blur line of chemical smoke and rising dust, the final border of a journey built on silence and on rust. The residue of a conversation the wind carried away from here, the spare part of a machine that I never dared to go near. I'll stay right here until the stars are choked by the city's bright glow. Embracing this grime, the only truth I've ever come to know. Rust and wind, where I've been, rubber and grit, this is it. No one hears through the years, turn to dust. Feet on the gravel, eyes on what's left of the light, finding beauty in the things that everyone pushed out of sight. Off the grid, where I finally hit. Boy, on the ground, no destination found, stealing the sky, no more light, let the wind take it, just let it be, just let it be.
Raw truth on a napkin so stained, let my pride in the gutter where the gray water remain. The rhyme is the blade cutting through the thickest haze, fuel for the soul through these repetitive sunless days. I don't seek the praise of the ones who do not feel the weight of the tax and the hunger that is real. Low frequency vibes, I beat the stage true to the block, born in the shadows far away from the tick and the top. What used to be cold is now shining for the few, a ghost in the machine, something ancient and new. At the curve of the night, the thought starts to stretch and bend like a broken sidewalk that never seems to end. Heavy pen in my hand, the paper is catching the spark, writing constellations for the kids lost in the dark. I am not just a pawn, I am the king of the high wire, walking through the smoke of a city-wide fire. The ink is the blood of the ones who already bled in the project hallways where the hope was left for dead. The metric is the guide, the flow is the hornet's sting. In this vast union, I am just a quiet broken thing. It is the cursed verse, the sacred line told, the voice of the one who never was sold. The beat is the pose, the rhyme is the note. Look to the living, let the truth come forth. It is the cursed verse,
but the silence is loud. It's the sound of the 9 to 5 grind, the ghost of the factory that the system left behind. I'm sipping on the bitterness, turned it into a vintage wine, tracing the cracks on a rusted no trespassing sign. My lyrics are blueprints for a house that can't repossess, finding the sanctuary in the middle of this digital mess. The drums are the heartbeat of a subway train in the rain, conducting the electricity of a localized pain. No shortcuts taken, no handouts on a silver plate, just a man in the shadow standing at the iron gate. Knocked on the door and nobody ever replied, so I forged my own key, let the whole world slide between the cracks of the laws that they forbade. Found a real treasure in the debts that they delayed. I don't rap for the festivals, I rap for the ghosts, the one standing silent on the foggy Atlantic coast. The bass in my chest is the sound of the coming thunder, waking up the neighborhood from the spell they're under. The mask starts to peel, the silicone starts to show. The one who profits from the hate is the last one to know. It is the cursed verse, the sacred line told, the voice of the one who never was sold. The beat is the pulse, the rhyme is the note. Look to the living, let the truth come forth. It is the cursed verse, the sacred line told, the voice of the one who never was sold. I am the blue-collar laborer of the heavy rustic rhyme. A straight bullet shot into the fabric of a borrowed time. Went down to the basement and I came back with the code. Where the danger resides is the only home for my soul. If the music is the medicine, then the dose is a federal crime. A survivor of the static in a soulless digital time. I'm a 420 vibe in a world that's moving too fast, building a future out of the fragments of the past. From the hills of 9 Mile to the streets of Long Beach, I'm finding a wisdom that the schools couldn't teach. The static is my witness, the vinyl is my skin. I'm losing the battle just so I can finally win. The needle drops heavy, the rotation is slow. I'm the only one left with nowhere left to go.
Don't fight the time, don't fight the time, don't fight the time. You're clenching your fists and you're gritting your teeth, but the battle you fight is a fire underneath. The more that you struggle, the tighter the net. The more that you worry, the deeper the debt. You're pushing the mountain, but it doesn't move. You're out of the rhythm, you're out of the groove. Look at the willow, see how it bends when the wind of the winter its fury sends. The oak tree is rigid, it cracks and it falls, but the willow survives when the hurricane calls. The power is not in the hardness of stone, it's in letting the spirit sit on the throne. It's the way of the water, the path of no strife, the secret of flow in the river of life. Stop the resistance, let go of the oars, and watch how the universe opens the doors. Let it flow, let it flow, let it flow.
What you resist will always persist. It follows your shadow, it hides in the mist. If you fight against poverty, it follows your track. If you fight against sickness, it stays on your back. Bless your enemies and they lose their sting. Surrender the fight and let your soul sing.
We'll find the call.
I've seen the river go around the rock. It doesn't complain, it doesn't try to shock. It finds a small opening, it finds the way down, while the angry man is starting to drown. Acceptance is not a sign of the weak, it's the highest wisdom that a human can seek.
Lay down your arms, lay down your shield. The greatest of victories is found when you yield to the higher intelligence, the master plan. That's far beyond the logic of man. If the door is stuck, don't kick and don't shout. Wait for the spirit to lead you out. It's the way of the water, the path of no strife, the secret of flow in the river of life. Stop the resistance, let go of the oars, and watch how the universe opens the doors. Let it flow, let it flow, let it flow.
Surrender the struggle, find the calm, flow like the rain, rest in the palm of the Creator.
No resistance, only flow, only flow, only flow, only flow.
When you stop the war inside of your head, the demons of worry are suddenly dead. The world doesn't need your anger and heat. It needs your presence, steady and sweet. Be like the cloud that moves with the breeze, gliding with grace and gliding with ease.
The flower doesn't struggle to reach for the sun. The work of the spirit is already done. Just be in the moment, be in the now. The why is not yours and neither the how. Release the tension, release the fear. The solution is coming, the solution is here. Don't fight the top, you have to lobby.
The river reaches the sea eventually.
Don't fight the top, you have to lobby.
Without a single fight, be like water, my friend. Stay in the flow.
Yeah. The clock don't run, it drags the fatigue on the floor. Measuring the distance from the mistake to the door. It ain't about the rush of the man trying to arrive. It's about the stillness of the one who's truly alive. The asphalt is the judge and the silence is the plea. I am writing my fate with the ink of the debris. Flip the hourglass and I watch the sand spill. If you were always explaining, you are just standing still. My souls know the road like the back of my hand. Walking through the shadows of this hollowed out land. In my chest the drum beats in a minor key. The taste of the struggle is the only guarantee. The world is screaming loud just to get a quick glance. But I found my peace in the slow motion trance. The bars are made of rhymes and the goals that I set. A crooked path walk with no room for regret. It is the weight of the plum, the balance of the core. The world is a ride but I'm looking for more. No forced smiles here, no fake in the scene. If it is worth the effort, you know what I mean. It is the weight of the plum, the balance of the core. The world is a ride but I'm looking for more. Yeah. I do not look for shortcuts, I do not buy the lie. The fall taught me more than the wings ever tried. The peak is the focus, but the ground is the base. Every single loss was a part of the chase. The shadow gets long at the end of the ride. The light that I follow has nowhere to hide. Eye to eye now, never looking away. If the tide starts to rise, I will find a way to stay. Swallow the poison, then I spat out the truth. Forged in the fire since the days of my youth. The iron gets shaped when the flame is at peak. My voice is the echo for the ones who do not speak. I do not follow the stream, I am the current itself. Planting the future while I empty the shelf. The bill is coming due and I am paying in full. Signing my name on this jagged edge pull.
I still feel the weight of you on the right side of the bed. It's a phantom memory, a mirage playing games inside my head. The sheets are pulled tight, way too cold for this time of year. While I stare at the ceiling, tracing every mistake and every fear. The kitchen light leaks in from under the bedroom door. A thin line of gold cutting through the silence across the floor. The crystal tray still holds the mark of what we used to share. Some random night in March, before you decided you weren't there. Your scent is still living on the collar of a jacket I refuse to clean. Prisoner of a smell, a moment, a shadow of what might have been. I look at the phone, the screen glows. My finger starts to hesitate, but I know your voice only lives in the spaces I can't reach and navigate.
Talking to the empty air where you used to be. Trying to find a reason why, but my mind can't see. Haunted by this echo, trapped inside this hollow.
I open the drawer and find a lighter you left behind. The flame is the same, but the warmth is nowhere for me to find. I watch the steam from my tea rise in slow gray swirls, searching for a spark in a world that just slowly unfurls. The TV is on some news channel with the sound turned low. Silent images passing by while I lose my own rhythm and flow. You're the song that cut off right in the middle of the hook, leaving the beat broken like a story missing the last book. I see you in every corner, in every shadow the curtain draws. Like my own apartment is asking for a key I no longer cause. A password I lost, a door that's been locked from the inside, leaving me out here frozen in a spot where our worlds collided. Yeah. Rain starts tapping on the glass and out of tune jazz beat. The world keeps spinning but I'm parked here on a dead end street. Maybe you're in another room now with a different light on your face, drinking a different wine, finding comfort in a whole new space. And I'm still the same, the captain of a ship that never leaves a dock, collecting silences and photos, watching the hands move on the clock. It hurts less if I don't turn on the lights, hurts less if I don't move it all. Pretending if I stay static, time will stop. A slow and steady crawl on the sketch of an embrace, the ghost of a kiss that turned to mist, the remains of a conversation that the city noise decided to resist. I love you, world, maybe I just love the hole you left behind. In a silent war where I'm the only one peace will never find.
Shadow on the wall waiting for the fall. The right side is empty, the right side is cold. A step into nothing, the story grown old. Talking to the empty air where you used to be. Trying to find the reason why, but my mind can't see. Haunted by this echo, trapped inside this hollow.
Yeah. Empty side, scent that won't fade,
Scent that won't fade.
the bed that we made.
The bed that we made.
It isn't over yet but you're already gone.
Just the echo.
The first line of something cuts the sheet like a scar of pure gold. The room wakes up slow, showing the treasures the shadow used to hold. No floating dust here, just this brightness cleaning my eyes. A gentle clarity piercing through where the window blind lies. I feel the fresh cotton against skin that's still half asleep, while gravity for once lets me go as secrets it can keep. The morning silence tastes like mineral water refreshment. A blank page stretching out, but only a golden hint outside. The dew still glitters on the vines as on the wall. The world reborn, leaving behind the shadows of the fall. We're drawing the space under the rains of the light, where the weight fades away and the path ahead feels right. Breathe in the now. The shadow took a bow. Yeah, yeah, I hear the wood of the floorboards clicking as they meet the heat. It's the sound of the house breathing, making the silence sweet. I push the window open, letting no air sweep through my chest. Letting the wind organize the mess and give my mind a rest. The colors outside are sharp, no filters of doubt or of fear. The green of the trees, the blue of the sky, making everything clear. No rush in my step, just this urge to watch the void for a while. Feeling the peace overflow like the river with a quiet smile. I'm a clean mirror reflecting only what's truly essential. Far from the noise and the drama, reaching my calm potential. The sun on the glass, get your throws, rainbows across the white wall. A sacred geometry that stops any sadness from starting to crawl. I walk barefoot now, feeling the floor, holding me steady and true. Accepting that simple living is the only thing that pulls me through. Every particle of light is a reminder that time is on my side. And I'm no longer a prisoner, but the places where I used to hide. I leave the door slightly open so luck can walk right in. Knowing that today I finally learned where to begin. No goals, no demands, just a pattern of light on my face. Tasting this fresh start, this quiet and gentle grace.
Lines of sun, the dark is done. Air that renews, nothing to lose. Walk with dance, now makes sense. Light and peace. We're drawing the space under the rain of a light, where the wake fades away and the path ahead feels right. Breathe in the night.
Tracing the veins on a leaf in the middle of the smog. Finding the clarity inside this digital fog. The world is a sprint, but I'm walking in slow-mo. Capturing the truth that the fast ones will never know. The ink is the oil that keeps the machine alive. In the concrete hive where only the patient survive. I'm building a fortress out of the rhymes they ignore. The quiet revolutionary unsheathing a wooden sword. The base is the gravity pulling my thoughts to the floor, while I'm looking for the key to an ancient rusted door.
I seen the stars through the gaps in the high-rise glass, watching the seasons in the hollowed out moments pass. I don't need a crown, I've got the dust on my boots, nurturing the spirit in the heavy concrete roots. There's a rhythm in the silence that the radio can't play, a rustic translation of a rainy forgotten day. I'm a shadow in the basement, curing the lyrical leaf, finding the sanctuary in the middle of a localized grief. The needle is dragging, but the rotation is true, a message from the old world reaching out to the new.
It's the concrete roots, the strength in the slow burn, the wisdom of the pages that the world forgot to turn. The beat is the pulse, the rhyme is the north. Luck to the living, let the truth come forth. It's the concrete roots, the strength in the slow burn, the voice of the one who had nothing left to earn.
I'm sipping on the stillness like a vintage bit of wine, marking the territory on a faded no trespassing sign. They're chasing the ghost of a fame that never stays, but I'm counting the blessings in these smoky gray days. The blues is the teacher, the struggle is the classroom floor, learning the secrets that were hidden behind the wall. I'm a blue-collar poet with the 420 soul in the pen, writing the anthem for the ones who have to start again. The vibration is heavy, it's a physical weight in the air, a quiet resistance against the ghost of a deep despair.
The rain on the window is a percussion, I understand. Mapping the future on the palm of a weathered hand. I've buried the ego and I planted the seed of the real. In a world made of plastic, I'm searching for things I can feel. The smoke is a ladder reaching up to a different height. A silent conversation in the middle of a velvet night. No shortcuts taken, no handouts on a silver plate. Just a man in the shadow standing at the iron gate. The drum is a heartbeat, the melody is a distant sigh. Watching the satellites drift through a polluted sky. I remember the silence before the static took control. When the music was a mirror in a window to the soul. Now I'm filtering the noise through a rusted iron screen, searching for the beauty in the places that I've never seen. The sidewalk is cracked, but the weeds are starting to grow, teaching me the lessons that the skyscrapers will never know. I'm a ghost in the corridor, a whisper in the hall, the only one standing when the heavy curtains finally fall. The rhyme is the medicine, the dose is a federal crime. A rustic survivor in a soulless digital time. So let the record spin until the grooves are worn away. I've got enough fire to last me through a winter day. The hustle is a whisper, the focus is a steady flame. I've traded the vanity for the peace that has no name. One last spark before the shadows turn to solid black. A traveler on the path who isn't looking for the track. The concrete is heavy but the spirit is feeling light, floating like an ember through the middle of the night. The truth is the anchor, the silence is the final word. The most important stories are the ones that were never heard.
Watching the clock melt away on the peeling wall, waiting for the echoes of the city to finally fall. The neon lights flicker like a heart on its last beat, while the ghosts of the hustle are still haunting the street. I'm a shadow in the corner, folding time like a map, caught in the gravity of a beautiful velvet trap. The ink is running dry, but the story is carved in stone. A king without a kingdom sitting on a wooden throne. My lungs are full of memories and the scent of old pine, tracing the boundary between your world and mine. Yeah. The blue notes are bleeding into the gray of the dawn. A survivor of the static, still moving, still drawn to the places where the silence has a weight of its own, where the seeds of the struggle were originally sown. I don't need the spotlight, I got the moon in my glass, watching the parade of the hollowed out moments pass. Every scar is a lyric, every bruise is a drum, waiting for the rhythm of the spirit to finally come. The needle hits the end of the groove with a click, but the fire in the basement is still burning thick. It's the final exhale, smoke in the room, a quiet light dancing in the middle of the gloom. The beat is the anchor, the rhyme is the sea, setting the fragments of the broken soul free. It's the final exhale, smoke in the room, a quiet light dancing in the middle of the gloom. I walked through the furnace and I didn't turn back, leaving my fingerprints on a suit in the black. They tried to sell me the future in a plastic box, but I'm still picking the tumblers on the ancient locks. There's a blues in the basement that never gets old, a story of the silver that was traded for gold. I'm a 420 prophet in a world full of lies, looking at the universe through these heavy red eyes. The concrete is cold, but the vibration is deep, promises to the ancestors that I'm trying to keep. So let the rain wash the salt from the rusted out gate. I've learned how to love and I've forgotten how to hate. The hustle is over, the silence is a gift, watching the tectonic plates of the memory shift. I'm leaving these verses like breadcrumbs in the haze, a guide for the ones lost in the digital maze. One last spark before the shadows take hold, a rustic translation
record keeps spinning even when the sound dies. I'm the truth that remains when the world is all lies. It's the final exhale, smoke in the room, a quiet light dancing in the middle of the gloom. The beat is the anchor, the rhyme is a sea, setting the fragments of the broken soul free. It's the final exhale, the smoke in the